Welcome back, Ned.
Hi, Kerry. How are you doing today?
All good, all good. So we got a new Fed chairman on the way.
It looks like it. President Trump promised to announce who it would be by the time he leaves for Asia. And this person is already on the board. Powell is the best guess anybody's got. And he's not going to be material different from Yellen right away. I mean, he might be a year from now because Yellen turned out to be nothing like Bernanke or Greenspan. But with the board at only 4 of 7 members, and who knows how long it's going to take Congress to approve the other 3, they're not going to rush to any major changes, and they're more likely to do nothing. And so far, even since last month's announcement where they said they were going to start unwinding the balance sheet, they haven't done that, Kerry. Every Thursday afternoon, the Federal Reserve releases a bunch of data on its balance sheet and the money supply and the balance sheet of banks. So every Thursday, we get a look at what they did with the bond portfolio. And through that last report, they'd actually increased it $500 million. And the week before that, they bought $12 billion in mortgage-backed bonds. I don't know how buying $12 billion in bonds is unwinding, but maybe I don't understand Federal Reserve policy. That's one policy. Are they going to raise rates in December? I think at a probability over 40% is overreached because you got these 4 people that are waiting for 3 other members. You got a president that's now coming into his 2nd year. I think they're going to be reluctant to change anything until they get those new members on board. That expectation of unwinding and the December balance interest rate increase is what has fueled a dollar rally for the last 2 months. Dollar has moved very strong against some currencies, and that rally is starting to run out. Currency traders, the real ones that work for big banks, they don't have an attention span longer than 2 months. If something works for 2 months, they start looking for something else to do. So now they've probably run that as far as they could. And my dollar index peaked out last week when gold hit on Friday, 1263. And I had told my readers that we would get buy signal on Friday. And so I think we've now passed that expectation of the Fed's going to be selling bonds by the billions every day and going to be raising rates like crazy. And you add the fantasy that's going on in the stock market. I mean, Kerry, the secret to wealth has been revealed.
Yeah.
I mean, we borrow all the money we can on our house and our kids and whatever, and we go buy the Fantasy 5 technology stocks. And then in December, we're going to buy call options on Bitcoins. I mean, you got to be in the fantasies.
What could go wrong?
Well, as far as I can tell, the street's telling us nothing. There was one insightful guy this week. I don't know how he got on CNBC. It must have been a mistake. He was comparing what's going on now with the Bitcoin, you call them kleptocurrencies, right, Gary?
Yeah, well, Bitcoin is the exception, but all the other ones are pretty much kleptos. Maybe Litecoin, but yeah, there's problems here. There's definitely problems.
Well, he was comparing the introduction of the derivative market. We're going to have futures and options on futures in, I guess, December is what they're talking on the Bitcoin. So now, when those hit, you'll now be able to buy Bitcoins on 5% margin because that's about what you need for a futures trade. He's comparing it to the synthetic CDOs of 2007. For those listening, CDO is a collateralized debt obligation. And when they were born, they were a standard, decent product. People took bonds, real bonds of real companies, and used them as collateral for a debt issue. Well, that got to be a problem because you had to find these bonds. So what they created was synthetic bonds. So I didn't really have to go buy AT&T bonds to make a collateralized debt obligation. I would say that I said it would be backed by a synthetic AT&T bond, which is an imaginary bond that looks like one they have. And so what you have is imaginary collateral for those CDOs. But it's what we got with the cryptocurrencies. We have imaginary value that's going to be used for futures and ETFs and whatever. In other words, there's nothing there but an imagination. And so, in my view, it probably is. I mean, I had to look it up for my latest letter, and there's more than 1,100 cryptocurrencies.
I think there's over 2,000 now, but it's impossible to know.
There's 120 hedge funds that claim to be kleptocurrency experts, and people are giving them money.
See, it's got a nice ring to it, kleptocurrency, doesn't it?
How can you charge people a fee to put their money in something that's imaginary? I'm kind of like the TV commercial I keep seeing, Kerry. If you can't hold it, do you really own it?
Yeah, I think that's a gold commercial for that guy Jim Devaney. For I don't know that they're not a sponsor, so I'm not going to mention their name. I don't think I would be encouraging people to buy from them anyway.
No, we don't believe in free commercials.
No, why would you do such a thing, right?
Right. Now, and we're not even talking about the insurance value of it. I mean, we've got a 2-week window here where nothing's going to happen in Korea of any importance, and the tax plan is going to be wonderful. We're all going to be rich from not paying taxes.
I can't wait for that.
I still think. I'm sorry, Gary.
I can't wait for that one. When is that happening?
Well, they're going to, but you rich guys are going to have to pay extra taxes. I'm sorry, Gary.
Yeah, well, fortunately, I'm not one of the rich, so I don't have to worry about that. Right?
Yeah, that's right. My divorce made I never had to worry about taxes again in my life.
You and me both, kid. Right? I mean, that's it.
Yeah, and of course, silver has been hurt the most by this kleptocurrency nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And when, not if, this phony currency thing